What's up? Welcome to those who are watching on the replay. Hello, hello. All right, let's get this started. I think we're gonna use these because I really like those. All right, and that's gonna drive me crazy. What's up? What's up? I'm just getting set up here. Hello, how are y'all? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. How is everybody? Feel free to leave a comment. Full moon meteor shower. Yeah, I want to go out and watch that. The Aquarius, right? Full moon. Happy full moon, y'all. How is everybody feeling? While I get set up here, feel free to say hi. Let me know where you're from, where you're watching. My table is all uneven over here. Good view in Indiana. Nice. Aquarius too. I've had some syncs recently with Indiana, so it's interesting that you're bringing in the sync with Indiana again for me. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Hi, Virginia. I mean, your name is not Virginia, but hello from Virginia. 70. Oh, born in 71 snowstorm. I was born in 81. Not quite the snowstorm, but there was that snowstorm there. Hi, Denise. How are you? It's nice to see you here, my dear. Hi, Pamela from Michigan. I'm in Colorado. How is everybody feeling? How is the energy? I'm trying to think. Give me 1 second. The temperatures have been decreasing here in Colorado, thank goodness. As of the last week, it hasn't been as hot as it was last year, thank goodness. Hi, Idaho, Bella from Idaho. But it's been kind of raining here. It's been raining here so much more this year, and I'm like, thank God. But it's like, I think it's currently 70 something. And it's supposed to like be pretty moderate or temperate this week, so I'm happy about that. Okay, so where are you at, Denise, again? So what's up, y'all? My name is Angelica, and I am offering free and paid spirit-led readings today. And oh, Tucson, Arizona. Ooh, nice. Arizona is like pretty hot usually. I've been to Arizona. How's the temperature in Arizona? Let me fix this. There we go. Okay. I just got to move this way more. All right. Aloha, aloha. Ooh, from Oahu. I haven't been to Oahu. Thank you for sending that Hawaii love. Aloha, aloha. I've been to Maui and Kauai, and I loved it there. Thank you for that. Do I do questions about legal-ish stuff? I can. So the way this works is that I'm doing free and paid readings, right? So I just do, I play around. I like to play and just kind of go where spirit and my own intuition kind of lead me as far as the free readings. So the free readings, I kind of just scan the comments, and I'll let you all know. I'll get to that in a minute. But I just kind of scan the comments and I kind of get there. And whatever question I'm drawn to, I do. I will say that I feel like I'm being veered away from love type readings, but we're going to, you know, whatever I feel drawn to, we'll do. Okay. So here's how it works. If you're a first timer, you can let me know. How are y'all? Thank y'all for hanging out with me. So as far as the free readings go, you just want to leave a comment with your name and a question. It can be a question. The more specific it is, the more specific the information, right? And keep in mind the free readings are basically mini readings. So it's going to be as concise and compact as I can make it. All right. And then, you know, it can also be general health, career. I purposely didn't put love on there because I feel like I'm being veered away from that. And I also don't do pregnancy or fertility. Okay. I was going to say something and I don't remember what it was. I'll get back to it. I'm sure it'll come back to me. As far as the paid readings, so paid readings are basically to get on my list, to get to the top of the list. I do all of my paid readings first, and if not, you know, I just have fun with the free readings. Okay, so the paid readings are donations of $20 minimum. You can feel free to donate more, but no less than $20. All the links to donate are my profile, and then you got to let me know in the comments that you donated because I don't always get the notification on my phone here right away. And if you are donating through PayPal, let me know first. If you do decide to pay for a paid reading on here and you donate through PayPal, press the family and friends button. And then the donation exchange is for the paid services are $20 for readings and $33 for energy work and mediumship. Okay. Hi, y'all. Let me like scroll through the comments. Oh, first time here. Hi, Christina. Thank you for being here. Ah, Jesse, I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for sharing that. And if I don't get to your comment, please feel free to keep commenting. And I promise I will get past, or I will get to as many as I can. Hi, first timer, user 103835. Hi. Oh, domestic violence made me lose everything. Was with them for 20 years. That's a really, you know, without disregarding all of, you know, the experiences, or while honoring all of your experiences, my dear, that's a beautiful, beautiful, enriching experience that you have to share with others. And you can never be damaged. I mean, I get what the personal part of you, or the parts of you that are identifying that went through that pain, but like your soul can never be damaged. So there's a lot of different, you know what I mean? Like, but I do want to like respect that and honor that, all of those things. Okay, so let's get on to what do I want to say? So I did introduce myself before, but if you missed that, my name is Angelica. I am a healer and a reader. That's not all I do, but those are the things that are very, very prominent in my field, and prominent in my space, or just prominent in these things are that I do naturally. You know, I just have a natural healing vibe, as well as, you know, I can read people very, very easily. And I've been reading people my whole life. I just didn't know it. But because of all of the trauma, because of all of the different experiences that I had, I thought it was crazy. Oh, you Cash Apped. Thank you for letting me know. What did you Cash App for, my dear? It's not popping up on my screen. Tiffany. It might pop up here in a minute. You did as well? Oh, well, thank you for letting me know. Oh, that's not what I wanted. 1 second. It's not popping up on my screen. That's so interesting. Why isn't it popping up? I'm going to log in here. Okay, cool. Just wanted to see. Is it, I'm trying to, a Little Red Enchantress. I like your name. Where did you donate in, my dear? I wonder why it's not. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's stop that. I wonder why it's not giving me the. So if you did, okay, Cash App. Okay, that's interesting. All right. So I have Tiffany, and what is your name, my dear? Little Red Enchantress. What's your name? It's not popping up on my screen. But let me know if you just paid for a reading. Lacey. Okay, cool. I like that name. Lacey. Tiffany and Lacey, will you let me know what you paid for? And then I can get to you guys. I would love to do that. So my thing is, I swear I keep getting sidetracked. I don't know. I don't know what I was gonna say. I'll wait for you guys though. A reading. Okay, cool. I wonder why it's not popping up. But I was having issues with Venmo earlier, so I can see how maybe it's all of the apps. I don't fucking know. Okay, so you said $20 reading, and then Tiffany. Okay, so Tiffany, that's your question? Oh no, never mind. Wrong Tiffany. Okay, no. Okay, I see the other Tiffany. I'm gotta keep everybody straight. Okay. Okay, so you paid, okay, for a reading. All right. Okay, so since you came in, Tiffany, I'm going to read for you first. And Lacey, I'm going to do your reading next, okay? And if anybody does want to else wants to donate for a reading, all the links are in my profile. Or if you want to stick around so I can get until I get to the free readings, you can do that as well, okay? Tiffany, you said, well, Brian, yeah, I know. I said which Tiffany. I'm talking to you, Tiffany. Tiffany, Sky, is it Sky, Skyle Smart? Skyle Smart. I'm just going to say Tiffany Smart. Okay. So you said, well, okay. So I'm just going to connect to you and your energy. And we're just going to, what I like to do is just be open to receive. And sometimes spirit takes us on a ride, okay? So we'll definitely get to your question, but sometimes spirit likes to take us on a ride and bring in other facets or components of information, okay? And if you ever do feel like you didn't fully receive a piece of information, all of my my lives are on my YouTube channel, okay? So I like to close my eyes because it helps me focus better, because if I'm reading the comments, whew. It distracts me from my focus. So Tiffany. Okay, there you are. I see that. And you said, did you say, hold on, you said get back together. Okay. So I'm going to connect to your highest self. And please know, I don't really know how to, I'm more of a straight shooter. Okay. I don't really know how to sugarcoat. It's not my bag. I will say things as gently, as delicately as I can, as I know how to. But please know that it's always with love and always no judgment. Okay. So let me just listen to your field for a moment. The first thing I get, it's really interesting. I see your field, like your aura pulsating. And to me, it reads as like there is a lot of hurt, a lot of pain there. Almost like if you got scratched or like you scraped your knee or something and that wound is like pulsating. That it feels like that. That's kind of how I read the energy. That's how your field kind of feels to me. So take that or leave that. Um, um, okay, hold on 1 second. They're telling me to pull a card from the Cosmic Consciousness deck because there is information in here. Oh, whoa, that we need. There it is. Okay. All right. So you got 2 cards here. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay. So there's a couple of things here. Okay. This deck doesn't do like reverse, but I'm feeling to leave it in reverse, and it's like honesty in reverse. So I don't know if there was difficulty with honesty or difficulty with seeing the truth of the matter or perceiving, being open. I hear the word denial, so I don't know if there was like denial of truth, denial of seeing signs, like red flags or whatever. But there's something around denial of honesty and not being fully honest. So I don't know if this is within your relationship or with you being honest with yourself or both or what. So however that lands for you, okay? Okay. The next thing I hear is it's time to get to the truth of the matter around this connection. Spirit wants to be very clear in that it's not about that it was a bad relationship or a bad connection, not going into duality and black and whiteness in that way, but more of like seeing the truth of the matter. And I'm not sure what that means. That's all that your highest self is giving me right now. It's like it's time to see the truth of the matter around this connection. Okay. The other card that I see, or the other card that came out for you, my dear, is freedom. And this is about expansion. Your honesty card, if you look at the bottom of that, it's about awareness. Okay. Becoming aware of, I feel this in the sense of the honesty card, I feel that it feels like seeing, again, the truth of the matter. I don't quite know what that means for you or how that lands for you, but it feels like having a veil over your eyes that, okay, it's like, how do you want me to describe it? I'm getting a couple different ways to describe it. So it's kind of like having a veil over your eyes and not being able to see the truth of who they are. Sometimes when we have certain beliefs about relationships, about love, about whatever, sometimes those beliefs will actually blind us to the truth. And so we project what we want onto the person that we want because of, our past emotional baggage, our past wounds, our past traumas, or our past beliefs, okay, that we keep recreating in this now moment, okay? So that's how that honesty card feels for me, okay? When we get to freedom, let me feel into this card for a minute. It feels like freedom from the lies, freedom from mistruths. And that's not to say that there was lies in the relationship, in the connection. There might have been. I don't get anything specific. If I did get something specific like that, I tell you. But it feels more like freedom in the sense of being able to see truth and be honest with yourself. So it feels like freedom from the lies, freedom from old projections, old things, perhaps emotional baggage, trauma, beliefs about relationships, beliefs about love, just belief systems are BS that is keeping you limited or locked in a certain patterning. Okay. So it feels like getting to the heart of the matter. When I feel into the connection, to be honest, my dear, it feels like it's best to leave this as it is for now. Okay. At the same time, I will always let you know this gets to be your choice. I'm not here to take your power. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I will translate the energy as honestly and as openly and as straightforwardly as I can. Okay. It feels like what they're showing me is kind of like a couple holding hands, and they've disconnected hands, and it feels like that's where it is right now, and that's where it needs to be. Okay. As for, are you going to get back together? This is a timeline question. Okay. There is a lot of love here on your part, I would say. It does feel like rose-colored glasses, though. That's not to say the love isn't real or anything like that, or disregard or somehow invalidate your experience of loving this person at all whatsoever. It just feels like what I'm getting the sense of is like they're putting rose-colored glasses on me, and that obstructs my vision from seeing the truth and being honest with myself. If this person is actually right for me right now. Okay. Are you going to get back together? Again, this is a timeline question, so let me fill into the timelines that come up. Okay, what I'm sensing is two timelines that come up. And I don't see that happening. It feels like both of those timelines are a no. And that the first timeline that I'm seeing, or that I'm tuning into, is obviously you stay broken up, and there's healing on your part. There is awareness around like the lessons. So there's an upliftment and an empowerment that comes from this break. The other timeline that I see, you're still broken up, but there's like a bitterness. There's a bitterness, there's lack of awareness, there's not wanting to learn the lesson. There's still the heartbreak and the longing there. Okay. So it feels like an overall no. Again, because of the multidimensional nature of reality, it's just, there's no predicting the future. There's only a reading of the current energy, and this is how the energy currently reads to me. Okay, so things can always shift and change depending on, you know, your awareness, your choices, their awareness, their choices, etc. So there's never any concrete answers, but that's what I feel for you. Okay. Let me just check in to see if there's anything else. The only thing that they're telling me is circling back, is they want to emphasize really seeing the truth in the matter. Not necessarily making anybody the good guy or the bad guy, or, you know, making those kind of judgments, or criticizing, or trying to make someone the bad guy so you can feel good or anything. It's more about seeing the higher truths, the more universal or spiritual truths, I guess you could say, the higher perspective truths. This feels like it was a soul contract, and that soul contract has been fulfilled. Even though from like a personality level, like an ego level, it doesn't feel quite done. It feels, and I'm hearing that this contract has been fulfilled. Okay. So I don't get anything past that. It feels like they're kind of, when I get this type of gesture, it kind of indicates the end of like that's all we have for this reading. Okay. So let me know how that resonates or not. Oh, you understand? Thank you. You're welcome. I hope that resonates. And I'm sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear, Tiffany. So my best wishes, and there's always going to be more, you know. So, who's next? Lacey, you were next. And if anybody still wants to get on the list, you're welcome to. If you have questions about how to do that, let me know. You're welcome, Tiffany. Thank you for being here, my dear. Otherwise, you can stick around for the free readings, okay? Lacey, remind me again, what was it that you, let me see if I can scroll up. Oh, just, was it general? Are you just open? Let me fix this camera over here doing this thing. Um, um, oh, is this, were you the one that asked about the legal issues? um, self, should I file a self? Okay, you were, okay, all right. I'm like, I don't remember. Okay. So I'll just ask. Let me connect to your energy, my dear. Lacey, Lacey, Lacey. Okay. So I'm just listening and connecting to your highest self. I keep hearing yes. I don't even know what this is. What it is that you're asking about, but I keep hearing and feeling like a big yes here. Reason being, it's going to open some doors. There's something about opening some doors or opening opportunities or opening I'm not even sure quite how to read this, but there's something about opening doors or opening opportunities or opening like the mind, like doors within the mind, or there's something about something opening up with that that feels like it's creates a smoother process. And I don't quite know if smoother is that word that I'm actually looking for, but it feels smoother. It feels like, oh, it feels like resistance, 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 and then filing this document that you're talking about. It feels like it opens things up, and that you're going to be led to, let's say, the right people that are going to actually help you and be of help and be of a greater assistance than maybe perhaps you've received so far. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm just saying the things that I'm hearing. So I hope this makes sense. But it feels like a big yes. I would encourage you and invite you to do that. It feels like there might be a little bit of, not necessarily resistance, but there might be a little bit more paperwork or whatever to do with that. Obviously, if you're filing something else. But what I feel in the as a result is that it's worth it, because it's going to open something up for you. Okay. I don't know if it feels like it's something in the mind personally, but it feels like it's also, related to, your case or whatever that you're doing. Okay. They're not giving me a whole lot of information other than like really straightforward information of like, yes, and it's going to open some doors. Like it feels like, yes. It feels like yes. Oh, custody case. Yeah. It feels like it opens some things up, and it feels like you're going to have some connections. That you're going to make some connections to like the people that help you, or the places that you have to go that are going to help you. They might have some additional information in order to assist you and support you. Okay. But that's what I feel for you. Ah, you're going to school to be a paralegal. Wow. Congrats. Is that something that's wow, holy cow. Is that something that I'm losing my words. When I do readings, I lose my words. Is that something that like is exciting and fun for you? That's what I thought when you said opening doors. Yeah, there's something about filing that that opens stuff. They're not showing me what, but it's all I feel is opening doors. I don't know what that means. I don't know all the things. I hope that makes sense. You know, and if you do the things, please feel free to come back and let me know how, you know, what the result was or what the outcome was, because I love when people come back and they're like, hey, you were spot on, I did this, and oh, chose it because of custody things I've gone through. Oh, wow. I mean, hey, like that's dope. Do you, girl? Do all the things. Okay. I'm just listening. Yeah, I don't feel anything else, but I was listening to see if there's anything else. Thank you, Lacey. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the exchange. I appreciate you. And if you do feel called to come back and let me know how things went, I would totally be, you know, I would be ecstatic to hear how things went. Okay, so if you are here and you want to stick around for the free readings, oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Oh, thank you. She love the hair. Thank you. I grew it myself. So if you are here and you would like the free reading, leave a comment with your name and a question. The more specific you are, the more specific the information. However, keep in mind these are mini readings. And if you want to get into something really in depth, I would invite you to consider actually booking a private reading. Okay. So I would, I mean, unless you truly have something that you're fixated on, or you really want to know, I would recommend being open or asking, you know, more, being open to general, where is it? General, or just being open. Okay. Because that will ensure that you receive the medicine or the information or the message that you're meant to. And you will anyway. Sometimes spirit is like, I feel like sometimes spirit is like, you're thinking from this like ego perspective and you're fixated on this, and they're like, not really, but in my head, it's like, fuck your question. We're going to do this because this is the bigger picture. Right. So sometimes that's how it works with me. But yeah. Okay. So, oh, hi, Heather. Thank you for being on here. All right. Let me fix my camera again because, all right. Excuse me. All right. So I'm just going to scan the comments and feel into okay. Molly, I'm feeling you. And you said general. Okay. Hi. How are you, my dear? So I'm going to connect to your energy, your highest self and guides, and just listen for a moment. So as I connect, okay, hold on, wait, this information's coming fast. So as I connect to your energy, I get like a stream of yellow mixed in with a little bit of orange, or like mostly yellow, and mixed in with that is like some streams of orange. Very, very bright, kind of like the sunshine. Super, super bright energy. This pulls me to the solar plexus, okay? And to me, I mean, there's several different aspects that we start to work with when we're working within that solar plexus area, or that chakra. But the area that the specific area of the solar plexus that I'm feeling called to is individuality. And this feels more like owning the self, owning your uniqueness, and what. Okay, all right. So they also take me back to, this feels like the one of the cycles that you're in. We typically are in many different cycles simultaneously. Some smaller, some bigger. And one of the, I guess, more medium cycles that you're in, it feels like to me, as I read your energy, it feels like owning the self, owning your individuality, owning that part of you, owning your personality. I keep hearing personality. Okay. As far as personality is our personality. What part do you want to talk about? Stop talking so fast. Our personality is not fixed. It's actually very malleable, very flexible. And so, I don't know if there's something that you feel that you're fixed, that you're identifying as, like within your personality, within your identity. See, I keep getting both messages. I'm not sure which way this reads for you. If it's more of like, this is where you're at, keep going, or this is where you're at, move into this, lean into this more. I don't know. Take it however it resonates for you, my dear, because this one is coming in. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I wouldn't say weird or strange, but it's coming in a way where I'm not quite sure which side of the coin I'm on. Does that make sense? So it does feel like just knowing that your personality, your identity is not fixed. Whether it has to do with personal traumas or emotional baggage, or things that you've identified with, that you're maybe too identified as, knowing that that's malleable, it's changeable, like that. It just depends on how you want to shift, and it depends on shifting your perception, shifting your reality, shifting your beliefs, reframing your mind, deconditioning the mind, etc. Okay. But it feels like, I feel it's all about like identity, individuality, and personality. Something within those three things, or those three components, that feels like it's shifting. Okay. Okay. Now we get to it. Feels like a lot within those three components. It feels like there's a lot shifting. And it feels like there's things that you're being asked or guided or invited to release that no longer serve you. And it feels like, as I feel into those, what I feel is resistance. It feels like resistance to like, no, but like I feel not, this is me. This is part of me. I don't know how to release this. That's I kind of get like this like rigid feeling in my body. And so there's something around personality, identity, and individuality that is coming in. I don't get much more than that, other than that feels like the cycle that you're in. And I would invite you, and your guides, your high self is inviting you to let go and release the parts of you that you think you are, or that you were taught, or that you believe you are, that are actually in defiance to the truth of who and what you are. Like on a soul level, on a level of spirit. Okay. Yeah, big shifts ahead, my dear. Big shifts ahead. That's what I feel for you. Okay. Let me know how that resonates. I don't know. I never know until someone says like, oh yeah. You say, I've been emotional, still trying to heal after losing my son a year ago. Yeah, that's my condolences, first off. Sending you lots of hugs and comfort, my dear. Second, let yourself be in that process. The only way out is through. Grief is a process. Grief is a process. And it's non-linear. Sometimes we want it to be over because we don't want to feel the things. But it's important that we feel the things. Because that's the way we process things. We need to process that emotion, the emotions, the feelings, all of the things that come with it. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. So, let's see. Hold on. Let me. Okay. All right. Yeah. You're doing it. There's no trying, my dear. You're doing it. It's day by day, moment by moment sometimes, and you're doing it. Sometimes it just feels, you get in the feels, right? So just feel it all. Feel it all. That's what we're here to do. Okay. Heather, my dear, so you're looking for a reading around mental health and general wellness. You're welcome. You're welcome, my dear. Thank you for being here. Molly, I had to scroll back up. I was like, wait, what's your name? Thank you for being here, Molly. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys. Heather, are you still here, my dear? You were saying mental health, general wellness. Okay, sweet. Thank you for that. So let me connect to you, your energy. Thank you for being here, Heather. Okay. So I'm gonna do a quick little body scan. Not like super in depth, but in depth. Okay. I haven't even, okay, wait. Let me finish. Let me finish the body scan first. That's what I'm hearing. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay, those feel pretty clear. Okay. So I think three things came up. I'm gonna start at the top and go. Okay. Just kind of a general scan. The first place I got to was here. in the throat. So I don't know if this is necessarily at least I don't get that it's manifested physically yet. It might be, and I could be totally off. I don't know if this is thyroid or if it's manifested, but that's what I hear. And it feels connected to the throat. Because thyroids are, I don't know where the thyroid is. But I hear what I was stopped here first because I felt it in my throat, and then I heard thyroid. So I don't know if there's something up with that. But the thing is, like spiritually, on a deeper level, it feels like a block in the throat or a block in communication, expression. This is one of our greatest power centers of confidence, self-esteem, empowerment, feeling empowered. And it feels like there's a holding back here. And that might be affecting a thyroid, but it's in the throat. Okay. So that's where I get there. And that feels connected to mental stuff. And I would say beliefs. I would say mental blocks or beliefs, right? Our belief systems are BS, are bullshit. Our beliefs are literally creating our reality. We keep creating them. We create unconsciously from our belief systems. And so that's why it's really important to get in touch with our belief systems, but it does feel connected to your mind. And it feels like there's some haziness up there or some static, I would say, static haze. Not quite sure how to describe that, that texture that I'm getting. But it feels like this is connected to the mind, the head, and beliefs, okay? So I would invite maybe healing around that, or, bringing awareness to any beliefs around your expression or around self-esteem, about power or feeling empowered, and anything having to do with like communication, expressing yourself, listening, both sides of the coin there, okay? Where was I stopped second? Let's see. The second place I was stopped was like forearms and hands. I wasn't quite sure how to read that, but I felt the energy go into my like kind of forearms, hand area. And that feels like it affects the doing process, the action process. And so if there's blockages here in the mind, or like limitations, fear-based beliefs in the mind, and it's stopping your expression, it's going to also stop your action. It's going to also, so it feels like it's kind of locked. There's energy locked there. The third place that I was feeling called to was the heart. Nothing like major. I wouldn't say anything major. I mean, I don't know if there is, but I don't feel, as I'm reading it, it doesn't feel anything major. It just feels like there's, with the things going on in the mind, which is limiting expression, which is limiting action. It feels like there's also some things around the heart that aren't being fully expressed. And I don't get like anything super detailed because this is a mini reading. I like a mini little scan reading, but that's kind of what I feel. But there's something around the heart, maybe some unprocessed emotions, and there's things around in the head and in the throat that's locking up action. Okay, that's kind of what I feel for you. Let me know how that resonates, my dear. But that's what I feel for you. Overall general wellness, I would invite you, because you're talking about mental wellness, right? I would invite you to look at any beliefs, any fear-based or beliefs around communication, expression, maybe any old unprocessed heartaches, emotions, etc. That will free up that energy, okay? Because it feels like your energy is locked in those three places. I mean, I wouldn't say locked, but it doesn't feel as free flowing as it could be. Um, yeah, yeah, I'll leave it there. Let me know how that resonates, my dear. If anybody else is out there and would like a free reading, let me know. Heather, you can let me know if that resonated or not. It's okay if it didn't. It doesn't have to. But that's what I felt for you, my dear. Heather says, my goodness, I'm in the process of healing my inner child, growing from PTSD due to trauma. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah. There's a lot. Yeah. That inner child, maybe that's what I felt in there. There's, yeah, the inner child. There's that the inner child, I wouldn't say is in any particular chakra. I don't know. If any, I would associate it with the solar plexus. But if there's like heartache, or if our younger self, our inner child, was told all of these things, and created all these beliefs and stuff like that, that could definitely be a part of inner child healing and trying to deal with my current relationships. Yeah, yeah. I would really invite you to do like the belief work, inner healing and stuff, and continue on with that for sure. Because that's like the nature of my work. That's really one of my specialties when I do readings. This is why I like doing readings, because especially for people like you, because you're like asking about wellness and because that's part of my specialty, is being able to feel into a person's like bioenergetic system and pinpoint maybe locked up places, and then intuitively kind of pull information, and then be able to give suggestions of like certain things to do. Okay. So that's great. I'm glad. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay. Hello, my dear. How are you? I'm sorry that you're drained and feeling sad. Okay. My inner child was definitely robbed of her innocence, forced into certain beliefs. Yeah. Yeah, that's most of us. For sure. That's a lot of our innocence was taken. And I've actually had that theme come in very recently for me. So there's a lot of us dealing with like reclaiming our innocence. And then, yeah, forced into certain beliefs. Like I feel you. I'm not even going to my own stuff and make it about me. Well, yeah, I feel you. That's why I love doing the work that I do. Keep on going with that. Really bring awareness to all of those things. No, I'm doing free and paid readings, my dear. So free readings are as follows. I'll probably be on here for a little bit longer. Leave a comment with your name and a question. Be general, career, health, etc. I'm feeling called to veer away from love readings, and I definitely don't do pregnancy or fertility because they're not my bag. And if anybody does want to pay for a reading, those you can just ask and I'll do the whole spiel. Heather asks, if I purchased a tarot deck, any advice on how I can improve my healing with it? That's a really great question. So for that question specifically, Heather, I would say definitely use your intuition and get the tarot deck, or the Oracle deck that you feel most resonant with, you're like, yeah, this is the one. Go for that type of feeling. And then how can you utilize the tarot deck to, I would get an Oracle deck, or you can use a tarot deck too, whichever, right? I'm not going to limit you. I'm not here to tell you the things, but how you could use that is, or utilize that is, start asking questions, do your readings, or do readings for yourself, and ask specific readings about like what is coming up for me to heal. What is coming up for me now to heal? Asking questions about healing, asking detailed questions, and learning how to phrase your questions in a way that will allow you to receive the answers that you're looking for. And then with the cards that come up, you can utilize that in you can utilize the cards that come up to inform you of like, oh, there's this thing that's coming up, there's this thing that's coming up. And just kind of also, it's really interesting because this is a really neat and a great way to not only heal, but also improve and work on your intuition at the same time. So kind of allow your intuition, those memories to pop up. And so it kind of feels like a twofer that you'd be getting, but that's how you can kind of utilize tarot or oracle decks in order to, just ask, what's coming up? What do I need to heal? Or what wants to be healed? What part of me wants to speak that feels unheard, unseen, that feels suppressed, that feels repressed? And, just, pull some cards. I think that'd be great. Jasmine asks, how do I keep moving forward so I can be happy? That's a really interesting question, because happiness is here and now. And there's several components to that question, I would say. You might be in the process of, there could be like a dark night of the soul that you could be going through or whatever that feels very heavy, very dense. And that's when you're like moving through your own underworlds. Okay. But that doesn't mean that you can't be happy now. Our feeling states, our emotional states, are states of being. Like, think of something that you appreciate or you're grateful for, and cultivate that feeling. These are states of being that we can cultivate and we can call on in any moment that we might be feeling. The word I'm hearing is downtrodden, or powerless, or depressed, or sad. That's not to say don't honor what's coming up, especially if you need to process emotions. So there might be some emotions, some old wounds or unprocessed emotions, emotional baggage, trauma, etc., that needs to be processed. And that's not always pretty. And so people don't always want to go there and do that. So it kind of depends on where you are, Jasmine. This is kind of like a mini reading, and I'm not gonna go into like all of the things. At the same time, happiness is here and now. Gratitude, appreciation is here and now. And just because we're going through, maybe working through our shadow, working through those underworlds, working through our own demons, it doesn't mean we can't still harness and cultivate appreciation, gratitude, etc. Okay, so it's almost like, if you think of it in terms of like fitness and getting in shape. It's kind of like building muscle and shedding or leaning out at the same time. It's like doing two things at once. And it depends on how you focus or what's best for you or what you feel called to do. But happiness is right here and right now. And happiness, the best way to cultivate happiness is to go into gratitude every day. Every day. Gratitude, appreciation. And it's not just saying things. Oh, I'm grateful for this and I'm grateful for this. Without the emotion, it's about literally feeling. Okay? That's one of the great challenges that were, or I would say great opportunities that we're being given right now, is to cultivate that within. Because a lot of our society, especially if you're in the Western society or in the Western world, it's cultivated, we're taught to seek it outside of us. Let's seek out happiness outside of us. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we're constantly looking for someone else to make us happy, a situation to make us happy, a job to make us happy, all of these things outside of us, we're actually disconnected from our own ability to cultivate that and feel that within and to own our power in that way. Okay. So I don't have like a specific answer for you, but there's some really good information in there if you're willing to take that. Yeah, I feel like I'm going up and down when it comes to moving forward. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely an oscillation. Oh, you're welcome, Heather. I don't know if you're still here, Heather, but you're welcome. There's like an oscillation, peaks and valleys, right? But the more that we can process old emotions, right? Old traumas, old emotional baggage, old wounds, our old heartbreak, the more we can reframe our old outdated beliefs or limiting beliefs, and decondition the mind, the more that we put in the work in ourselves, and the more we're able to cultivate gratitude, appreciation, and literally spend time cultivating, feeling appreciation, feeling gratitude every day. The more we do that, the more we tap into and connect to the wellness that's always here. And that can sound woo-woo as fuck or whatever, but it's true. It's important. It's really important because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of disinformation, there's a lot of chaos. And if we're not cultivating that calmness, that peace, that gratitude, that appreciation within, and we're allowing all of this external happenings going on to derail us or to take us out of our peace, to take us out of our centeredness, our groundedness, then we're not fully in our power as creator, or as creator beings. Okay. So, but there is definitely an oscillation. It's always, we're going up in a spiral, but that's by choice, right? That's by choosing to move upward. And sometimes that includes processing your shadow, working, I would say making friends with your demons so that they're not demons anymore. But yeah, there's a lot that could go with that. Yeah. I would, yeah. Okay. She says, yes, but I also feel I lose my motivation too, and my energy gets so low. like right now, I feel low. I definitely get that. And I feel like you're feeling part of the collective, because there's a collective energy that feels really low, that feels really dense. And that's part of the collective shadow coming up that we're all having to deal with, that we're all having to face and process. Part of the opportunity right now, and you can see it as a challenge, whatever, but it's an opportunity. Part of the opportunity right now is to really cultivate those. Even if you do feel low, because trust me, I get it. I'm super empathic. I'm super sensitive to all of the energies, and I sleep a lot, and I can get really low. But one thing that I've noticed is that right now, it's really important that we keep our bodies moving. And whatever that looks like to you, it could be walking, it could be dancing, it could be like lifting weights, it could be a lot of different things. But like movement, moving your energy, moving that energy. It's important to not stay stagnant and to not stay sedentary for too long. Get up and move your energy, move your body. That's one thing to do. And this is all choice. We have to choose it. There's nothing that's going to come and save us. And, the energy might peak for a minute and you might feel good, but if you're not cultivating that within right now, it's only going to get tougher and tougher. Does that make sense? So I would say cultivate gratitude, cultivate, practice feeling appreciative. What's something that you literally feel appreciative for, or grateful for, and cultivate that every day. Spend like 5 minutes a day, really feeling that, and don't come out of it until you like at least feel, even if it's just a little bit, feeling that, and then move your body. Even though I'm tired a lot, I still make it a point to move my body, because it's important right now. Very, very important to move the energy. Our ancestors knew the importance of dancing, of movement. Sometimes when there was someone in the tribe that was sick, they would, dance in order to help move that energy out, to expel that energy. So I would say those two things: move and practice appreciation and gratitude. Yeah. Yeah, I try to walk and exercise. That is true. It's true that rose quartz helps with. It does. I think. Here's my take on stones, etc., crystals, etc. Yeah, I think rose quartz helps great. Quartz helps. I would say go with whatever crystal you're guided to. Just be like, okay, my intention is to help with healing, and then see what crystal you're guided to. If you're guided to rose quartz, go with that. I think we're inundated with so much information of like, this is what this crystal does, this is what this crystal does, this is what this, and that's all well and great and good. And if you resonate with that information, go with that. I think it's also important for us to use our own discernment, use our own internal guidance system to see what works best for us, because our internal guidance system is always is always there and it's always guiding us. But sometimes we're not actively listening or receptive to the information that it's wanting to guide us through. So I would say if you feel guided to rose quartz, use it. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that. That's what I have to say about that. Um, yeah, I appreciate you, my dear. Thank you for being on here. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Um, okay, Carla, let's see. You're asking about the apartment. So I'm just feeling into timelines for you. I keep feeling this is interesting. Um, how do I explain this? So, like, there's this timeline that you're on, and there's like an expectation of like getting this apartment now, on that date, and then I feel something shake up. I don't quite know what that is, but it's almost like it's almost like something comes in to shake it up. That's like, no, that's not quite. It's not quite time, or I'm not quite sure the quality of what it is, but it feels like a shakeup, and I don't quite feel that it's the 18th is quite the timing that would be the best. That would be for the highest and best good for you. Um, then again, nothing is concrete and everything is always in flux. So depending on different components, it could. But as I'm reading the energy in this moment, I keep feeling like there's an interruption and a break. There's like this timeline that's going, right? And there's a timeline, you're going along it, and then it feels like a break. And so I don't know if it feels like a pattern disruptor. Um, I don't know if, there's almost like a sensing of like, I'm not sure if that apartment complex is maybe the best suited. Take it or leave it. I'm not quite sure, but that's kind of how it comes across. But I keep feeling something come in that kind of, and I don't know why. So I would be curious to, if you come back and let me know how that works out. But I don't feel that working out, but I feel like that not working out is probably, I would say, more than likely for the best. um, but I don't know. The energy is always shifting, but it feels like there's something that comes in and interrupts, and I get a break. I get a break in the timeline, and I'm not sure how to read that, to be honest. Um, it's like I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to stop there because that's what I keep getting that. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how to read that, but that's what I get for you, my dear. um, oh, hold on. I hope that helps, Carla. Take it or leave it for sure. You definitely don't have to take that, but that's kind of what I felt coming through. Let me kind of fill in. I wish I could tell. I don't know. Okay, Christina, I'm feeling you, my dear. Here's the thing. It's all about perspective. What I get for you is it's really time to shift your perspective. It's not about bypassing or invalidating your experience, okay? Or not honoring the experience that you've gone through and that you feel that you're perceiving. However, from when I feel into your energy and when I feel into your energy, what I get is that you feel, okay, there's feelings of lost, feeling powerless. There's some confusion in there. And it feels disconnected. And so it feels like this is a very great opportunity and like an opportune time for you to shift out of these limiting perceptions. Again, that's not to say don't honor your experience as you've experienced or as you've defined them until now, but maybe realize that how you're perceiving your current situation to be may not be serving you, may not be empowering you, may not be uplifting you in the way that you prefer it to. And that's going to take some internal work, okay? So my invitation here is to maybe look into belief work, look into what they call shadow work, and really begin to, it feels like a lot of it's in the mind, and it's creating all of these false perceptions, okay, that maybe not, okay, false, yes, also disempowering. I feel disempowering. I feel disconnected. I feel like completely disconnected from my source. So I would say it's time to reconnect to your source within, reconnect to you, because it feels like there's a big separation. But that's just perception. It's all perception. You're still there. And I'm not quite sure how receptive you are to this. So I'll leave you with this. I would invite you to really look into belief work and reframing your mind so that you're perceiving your situation from a more empowered place rather than disempowered. And again, that's not to invalidate your experience, because it's very valid, it's very real. And I definitely, trust me when I say I understand. Okay, I experienced a lot of trauma as a kid that I started to run from, and it only compounded and compounded and compounded for just about 2 decades. And when I finally was like, shit, I need to heal my stuff or else I'm going to unalive myself. So I understand. This is why I do the work I do. This is typically why my readings go in the direction they do. Is to pinpoint where there are those disempowering or feeling powerless, those belief systems, those points in your energy field that are maybe gummed up with old fear-based beliefs or old emotional baggage, etc., so that you can transmute and transform that. We're here to transform and transmute a lot of this old, the things that we've inherited, the things that we've been taught, the things that we created because of the world that was around us. And it's up to us to, it's not our fault why, that these things happened to us or that we experienced those things, but it is our responsibility to take ownership and say, okay, this is where I am now. What can I do to empower myself? What can I do to uplift myself? What can I do to perceive my reality in a more empowered light? So I feel more empowered, so I feel more uplifted, so that I can actually come into and own my power. Okay. So I hope that helps. And I hope that you're receptive to what I'm saying. But it gets to be your choice, my dear. It really does. It gets to be your choice. And I have a lot of compassion for you because I've been there, and I can still go into those places and I'm like, nope, I got to go back here. So it's still a process for me sometimes. Okay. I'm not perfect. We all have those, even like the, motivational speakers, or, the best, the quote unquote best of us, the people that have really, practiced this stuff and lived this stuff for decades or whatever, even they have those days and they have to reorient. So it takes, it's all of us. So I hope that helps. You can let me know how that resonates. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you punish yourself. I totally get it. I totally get it. Yeah. Yeah, that's not your, yeah. I'm so sorry that happened to you. You know what? Our greatest pain will be, if we allow it to be, our greatest medicine for others. And that takes facing that pain. And that's not your fault. Thank you, Cole, for saying that. I really appreciate you saying that. We're a supportive group in here. I would say it is time to face. I would invite you to. It gets to be your choice, my dear. But if you do want to change these things and change your perception and release these things, I would invite you to look into healing those things, and being able to reframe reframe your perception of those events, because that is really great medicine. There are people out there that have been molested and raped and have been survivors of sexual abuse, and that's some of their greatest medicine. They actually help others to move through that and to process that. So maybe try looking for, there's so much free information now. Looking for people out there that have gone through the things that you have gone through, and start to understand how they've processed that pain. Because I don't know that pain. I've experienced a lot of trauma, but I don't know, maybe not to that extent. I've experienced sexual assault in some form, but never been. I don't want to go into comparison, because it's not about comparison. But I think it's important that you process that trauma. Okay. Oh, Eliana, you sent a PayPal. Okay. You found me, my dear. How are you, Eliana? Oh, I'm. Oh, Heather, you sent a Cash App. Well, look at you guys sending stuff, and I'm not even like realizing. Okay, so I got you, Heather. I'm looking for the PayPal, Eliana. I hope that helps, Christina. Um, it is time to. I would say it's. I would invite you to process that pain, um, and process the emotions and the anger and the hurt, and all of the things, all of the emotions, all of that suffering, or else, if we don't process it, and if we don't become aware of the patterns and the things that are like the beliefs, the different patterns that are recreating that type of pain, if we don't process that, if we don't become aware of that, we continue to recreate it. Yeah. Cole says I've dealt with similar things. Thank you for that, my dear. So I always am there for others. Yeah, that's why I like doing readings for people, because I've done a lot of my own work. I've processed a lot of pain, and I like being a source of empowerment for others. We love you, Christina. Yeah, yeah, and anger, when we sit on anger, or when we don't process our anger, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, anger, um, when we suppress it and we don't express it or feel it or process it, it can turn into cancer. A lot of times, that's why cancer exists. Haley, I see you. Okay, so I got Eliana. Hold on. Okay, Haley, my dear, it's actually $20 for a reading. So let me know if you would like to pay the difference or if you want me to refund that. Okay. All right. So I saw you, Eliana, first. I'm just checking on. Okay. So I got your PayPal, Eliana. Can I ask you something, Eliana? When you pay through PayPal, does it give you a choice to check like the friends and family box or the goods and services box? So basically, if you pay through PayPal or for a reading through PayPal, try to double check to see if you can check somewhere so it's like friends and family, because when you check that box, it doesn't tax me. Yeah, I've noticed that some people have said that it does that automatically. I'm like, I don't know that. Okay, Haley. Yeah, no problem. Just let me know. And so as far as relationships, my dear. Okay. All right. Okay, so I got Heather, Haley, and Eliana. Okay. Eliana, I seen your comment first, so I'm gonna do Eliana, then Heather, and then Haley. Okay. So first off, I did receive your questions, Eliana, and going forward, because I didn't say it before. So thank you for bringing my awareness back to this. Going forward, I'm only going to accept one question with the $20 readings, but because I didn't say it, I'm just going to take it as it is. Okay. So you're wanting okay. Eliana, Eliana. Okay, there you are. So let me feel into this connection, and then I will relay whatever I feel, sense, see, etc. Please know that there's no judgment or anything from me, and I will do my best to relay the information as delicately and as with as much honor as I know how to. Okay, so feeling into that connection. Okay, so they're telling me to, I'm hearing to actually, so let's get a card on this connection. Where's this connection now? Connection. All right. Okay. Before I show you the card, let me kind of feel into it first. Okay, is this, let me ask a couple of questions. Is this, who is this? Ah, okay, all right. They're like, look at the card. Okay. Okay, all right, so I'm going to start talking because there's a lot of information coming through. So this is the card that I got for you, my dear. Okay, this is, I'm doing this is the reading for Eliana. So you got 9 of Swords. And this, when I look at this, this feels like you leaning against the tree. And symbolically, this feels like you wanting to find stability in this other person. However, this other person, the word that I got is aloof. He feels a bit aloof. The other phrase or word that I get is non-responsive. And all of these words here, worry, remorse, anguish, hopelessness, dark thoughts, guilt, mental illness, regrets. I wouldn't say mental illness in the way that you might take it. But it feels like there's a lot of heaviness here that needs to be processed. Okay. And when I was asking, well, within the connection, is this a certain person? Who is this? And they were like, look at the card. And I was like, oh, okay, this is you. So I'm actually feeling to read you first. And it feels like there's still quite a bit of heaviness you're carrying. And because of your carrying all of this, like, imagine yourself if you have like a big old freaking suitcase that's not on rollers. It's carry-on, but it's like old freaking, it's not like the new time things that you can roll around. It's like an old freaking suitcase that you have to carry it. And it's super fucking heavy. And this feels like emotional baggage that you're wanting to carry on into this relationship, or that you are doing that unconsciously still. So this, and I'm reading it how it currently feels, okay? And this is you. So it feels like you're still holding on to some old baggage. And I would say the word that's highlighted here is worry. One of the other ones is remorse. I don't know why. Just take whatever resonates and leave the rest, okay? But it feels like there's some really heavy energies that you're still taking, or that you're still carrying. And I feel this sense of dragging it into this relationship, into this connection. And so that feels like it actually kind of repels this person. And I don't feel like that's a conscious thing, because our energy is everything. We're electromagnetic, bioenergetic, and that includes electromagnetic, right? So it's like a magnet. If you think of two magnets that are in the same direction, or you put both positives together, they repel. So it feels like that's what's happening. Or both negative sides, and they repel. And so it feels like there's not enough balance within your field yet. So again, your guides take me back to healing, to looking back, or to looking into, diving into, the sense I get is what they're saying is diving deeper than you might be comfortable with. And this gets to be your choice, my dear, but this is an invitation that's being extended right now. Because if you continue to bring this baggage, it feels like it's going to continue to repel. And it's not. Here's the thing. Just kind of straight talk. If we're going to continue to take our baggage into relationships, or into potential relationships, or we're going to continue to carry that baggage with us, how do I say this? If we're taking that into a relationship, the relationship is going to fall apart, more than likely, unless that person is cool with that, and then it's kind of feels like it creates a toxic thing. So if we're taking that emotional baggage, all of that baggage into a relationship, it's going to dissolve. The relationship isn't going to last. It's going to crumble because you're still trying to take old shit into a new world, into a new energy. And the energies right now are crazy, and they're bringing up all of the shadow. They're bringing up all of the stuff, and it's causing a lot of chaos. So they take me back to diving into your shadow, diving into your demons, diving into your hurt, diving into those traumas, diving into those unprocessed emotional baggage, wounds, etc., or unprocessed emotions, deeper than you might be comfortable with. Okay, and like I said, that gets to be your choice whether you take that on or not. But that baggage feels like it's repelling this connection. As you said, let me see if this will go back on. Okay. So if you continue to take this same heavy energy with you into this connection, it's not going to work. It's going to continue to repel. Okay, so that's what the future would look like in this current energy, with this current heaviness that you're still carrying. Okay, and you asked, and I would say, obviously, that would mean you wouldn't work out with that energy. Let me listen for one moment. Okay, I'm hearing to bring another card. Pull another card. There it is. Yeah. This is the invitation, the star. Look at that. Where it says healing. Healing. Leaning into healing, into renewal, calm, hope. If you lean into that, the energy dynamics shift. Hold on, where's the... Okay, so we're going to dive a little deeper, because this is what I'm hearing to share. There's something, because I'm looking at this other card where it says guilt, and the mental stuff. I don't know if there's mind games, or like these like cat and mouse games of like playing the mind games of like, excuse me, there's no judgment. It's more about like the patterns that you learned growing up, or that you adapted or adopted or inherited in some fashion or form, because for whatever reason. But the mind games, because I keep hearing mind games, and I don't know if there's like guilt, if it's like, you know how I don't know why I'm being called or why I'm being told to like use this example, but like I actually have some family that's Catholic, so I'm going to use it. Um, in the Catholic faith, there is a lot of guilt that's used in order to manipulate people, to control people into doing things. So that's the example that I'm being given. I don't know how that relates, or if that's something that you resonate with, but that's what's coming through, is that it's time to look into the mirror and see the things that it feels like you know are there, but maybe don't quite fully have accepted that that could be a bigger issue than you might have previously thought. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right wording, but we're going to leave it there. But it does feel like there's something around mind games or the mental like cat and mouse, and like I feel like I have to do this because this is how my relationships were. Okay, so there's never no any judgment. It's just about awareness, bringing awareness to your patterns around relationships and this back and forth of maybe how you get your needs met, or how you believe you have to get your needs met, or how you feel those connections need to look, or how they have looked in the past. But there's something around mind games and something around guilt. Okay. So that's the current energy situation. Okay. There's a lot of heaviness still here that you're being called to, like, you can't take that. With all of the love, I got so much love for you. No judgment at all. It's just time to lay that shit down because it's not serving you. You can't take that into that relationship. It's time to lean into healing and renewal and knowing yourself in a new light. Okay. Let me kind of just see. Let me just ask if there's anything else. Okay. The other part of this, or the last piece of this, it says it's almost like not saying, not quite to like give up on it entirely. It's almost kind of like let it kind of give it a rest for a moment. Stop trying to push. Focus on you and healing and getting to the root and to the bottom, the root of the issue that's going on here. And also what I'm hearing is, don't worry that if you let it rest, that that means this person's going to find another person or whatever. There's something about worry. Like, don't worry, come back to yourself. Things may do whatever, let them do whatever and come back to you. Because this connection, it feels like this connection as it currently stands, you can't take that stuff. You can't take that stuff there. You're being asked and invited to lighten up, enlighten yourself, and lighten your load. Okay. And I feel like I'm just kind of tuning in to see if there's anything else, but it feels like it's complete. Let me know, Eliana, how oh, okay. Let me just read. We've been apart for some time, but he reached back a few weeks ago. Things have been slow. So anxiety. So there's that worry, the anxiety. I just needed to know if things will work out to try to find some ease of mind. Here's the thing. There's something about you wanting to have it's almost like have peace in that external rather than finding it internally. Does that make sense? The invitation is to find that peace internally, because whatever heaviness it is that you're still carrying is what's actually the issue. And if he did reach out, that could be a really good sign. I would say really focus here. That doesn't mean completely, again, it doesn't mean completely just like, whatever, it's not going to happen, or release it fully. It just feels like really focus on your healing and the heart of the issue, or the root of the issue around the anxiety, around the peace, or the lack of peace, or the obstruction to peace, because it feels like that's the issue. And this person is reflecting that to you. Okay. Let me fill into, you said you asked if there's a possibility. There is a possibility. Here's the thing. The change has to come from within. It's what I'm feeling is like a full shift internally. So that internal shift has to happen for that to have a chance. Because in that shift, then you'll have a greater clarity of if that does reconcile, if that person is actually for you, or if it was just a reflection, like one of those types of connections that was a reflection of like a mirror, like a mirror reflection that like, oh, hey, here's this thing here. It's time to like, look at this thing. You want to look at this thing? Hey, here I am. So it feels like he brings in, this reflection to like really go deeper. It does feel like there's a possibility. It gets a little fuzzy if I go too far out. So it does feel like there is a possibility. But that has to happen. Like there's a sliver. So it's like a very, very fine line. You have to have had a genuine internal shift. It can't be like something that you're trying to fake. Does that make sense? Because it's from that place that you'll have clarity if you actually still resonate with this person or not. Yeah, I totally get that. It's your fear that it's just a lesson. And you know what? Many people have that, and that's just an attachment. I totally get that. So I'm not trying to disregard it or invalidate it. I've definitely been there many times with many different connections. I'm like, oh no. But what I realized in all these years of healing is that I had an attachment because I was so desperate to be loved and feel connected, because I felt disconnected within myself. I was really just hurting, and I was in pain internally, and I had a lot of unprocessed emotions, anger, desperation, powerlessness, and all of these different things. So it could be an attachment, and it feels like you're being invited to purify those things, to see. And I know that like a lot of us don't want to hear that, but sometimes that is the truth of the matter. And I say that with all of the love in my heart, knowing that I've been there before too, because that can be like, but on the other side of it is clarity and being connected and having greater clarity of like, that we wouldn't have worked out, or that wasn't my person. Hindsight is always 20/20. So just trust the process. We don't always get the, first we get the lesson, and then we have to we kind of like reverse engineer as we go forward. So first we get the lesson, and then we have to like search through all of the experiences in order to like what is it? First we get the lesson, and then we get the test. That's what it is. That's what I'm hearing. First we get the lesson, and then we get the test. So this is kind of like test phase. But yeah. But yeah, that's all that's left is a reiteration of what I already said. So if you want to, if you do want to watch this back, it'll be on my YouTube later today, or tomorrow, whenever I can get it posted on there. But it just feels like a reiteration. Lean into your healing, lean into clarity. Because on the other side of it, the other side of the coin is asking the question, do you want to be with someone that you're going to continue to learn the same lessons over and over and over and over again? I'm not saying that that's the, I'm not saying that's the case, but do you want to keep learning the same lesson over and over and over and over and over again with the same person? Or do you want to have someone that's going to grow with you, and that's going to, that wants to grow with you, that wants to do their work, that wants that deeper connection, that wants to grow that connection and deepen it, and really grow together, rather than continuing the same pattern over and over again. So it's kind of like more of like, what do you really want? Because it's your choice. It gets to be your choice. You don't have to do the work, but that's just the invitation that I feel. Okay. So I translate it the way that I feel it. Okay. Yeah. That's the thing about, the relationship connections and the love connections. To me, they feel they either are very aligned. If they're not, they're going to fall apart if they haven't already. So it feels very either or. I'm sure there's gray areas in there as well. So that's just kind of how I perceive it. But because of the split in humanity's consciousness, because of all of the chaos, it's time to get very, very clear in what you want first. So that, especially for those of us who are single, and maybe those of us might be looking for love or wanting that, it's important. A lot of us right now who are single are being, sometimes in our lives, there are those phases that it's important that we walk alone. That doesn't mean that we're lonely, but that we don't have a spouse or a partner because that there's certain preparatory lessons and initiations and things that need to happen that maybe our ego doesn't fucking like, but it's actually important preparation for the next chapter. And if we continue to resist it, we're only prolonging that process. So if you don't want to prolong your process, I would say lean into healing. But it gets to be your choice again. And I, that's the thing. You asked, so he's not the person. It feels more like a soul contract. And it feels like an attachment. And because the attachment is so prominent, it's almost like it impairs my vision. Does that make sense? It's I don't feel like I can even get past that. It's like, so I really, unfortunately, I don't have a clear answer. I would give you a clear answer if I did have one, but it feels like that is the answer. I wouldn't say that he is or he is not the one, but it feels like there are a lot of us have a lot of those, a lot of us, because of like movies and fairy tales, and it could be cultural, it could be inherited, or societal beliefs about love and having the one, having the soulmate, etc. We get fixated on this thing, and it's going to bring happiness, it's going to bring connection, it's going to bring that thing that we want, when really all of that's inside. That's not to say that we can't have that too, but in these energies now, it's time to get right with yourself. Because if you're not right with yourself and you take that shit into a relationship, it's not going to work. Period. If it's either going to be very, very cohesive and coherent and synergistic, or it's going to be really fucking toxic. Okay, you're kind of getting one or the other. And that's just how I perceive it. You know, I'm sure other people are perceiving it differently, but that's kind of how I perceive it. So this whole relationship thing right now, if you're on your own, I would invite you to lean into healing, into self-awareness, into self-realization. It gets to be your choice though. Because if you're taking all of that old energy into a new connection, it's not going to work. And the thing is, you don't want to take that. You want to fucking become clear and to a place where you're in remembrance of your wholeness, that you've always been, that you always are, that you can never not be. That when you find that person, it clicks in. Okay? So really, to me, Eliana, I would say there's heavy attachments to that person. And I would ask you, what quality or qualities does that person represent to you? Do they represent stability, safety, connection, love? What do they represent to you? And then I would kind of invite you to look there if that's something that you're open to doing. But as for if he is or isn't, it gets really fucking fuzzy, and I don't have a clear answer. Okay. Yeah, and sometimes there's a reason for that. You say your guides never want me to never want to tell you anything about him. When your guides aren't even telling you something about something or someone, that is a whole lot of information right there. That's a very big, I would say that's a That's a piece of information right there. They can tell me everything about everyone, just not him. A lot of times, because it's because of our own attachments. And if it's coming from your guides, you might have even resistance about hearing things that you don't want to hear. Whereas maybe another reader, someone like me, doesn't have those attachments and it can flow. Does that make sense? It almost feels like you wouldn't want to hear it if it did come from them. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but sometimes we have those certain blocks about things, and it's like, nope, don't want to hear it. So for me, they tell it's going to work, but for others, it's always 50-50. Yeah, yeah. I would lean into the healing. I would lean into yourself, figure out yourself, and know yourself first. Because if we don't know ourselves, if we don't know how to love ourselves, if we don't have to know how to value ourselves and meet our own needs, then how the fuck do we ever expect to show up in a relationship and have it be healthy and have it be coherent and open and honest, etc. Okay. At this point, I want to clear, even if it's negative. I see what you mean. I get it. It gets really fuzzy for me. If you want a clear answer, that is the clear answer. I would say come back to yourself, because coming back to yourself is the only way you're going to get clarity. This feels like an answer that others might not be able to tell you. It's more of an experiential thing that you have to go through your own process first. And I know that might be frustrating and it might sound like bullshit. But as someone that has been through a lot of this shit and had these exact same things, I'm like, fuck, I just want to be with someone and blah, blah, blah. Now I'm perfectly fine. Perfectly fine being single, I guess. I'm perfectly okay with that, because I understand now that I'd rather get to know myself first. And from there is the clarity. I want to get in touch with myself. I want to be able to take care of myself, meet my own needs, understand myself first. Because if we understand ourselves first, then we can take that understanding and then we can actually know someone else. If we don't know ourselves first, how do we figure we're going to know someone else? Right now it's about alignment, especially with relationships. If it's not aligned, it's not going to happen. But I feel like you are getting a clear answer, but you want it to be a certain way, like either yes or no about him, when really it's yes or no about you. Does that make sense? You're welcome. Yeah, it might not be. Yeah. I'm sorry if that was like vague and you didn't get the answer that you were looking for. But I can only tell it how it comes to me. So I thank you. Thank you, Eliana. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. And it was great to see you again. Heather, my dear, are you here? So it's Heather and then Haley. Yeah. I love you. We're sending you so much love. Yeah, sometimes we don't always get what we want, but we get what we need. Heather's here. Okay, Heather, remind me again. Did you have a question? Or were you open? Because I didn't write it down. I need to write these things down. We still going. How are y'all? How y'all hanging in there? Thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that's here. Okay, well, it's all good. I don't need to look at that. And then Haley, if you are here, I'm sure you are, let me know what your question was, or if you were open, etc. Yeah, I think so. Haley, I think you have enough time. It'll probably be about 5-10 minutes. And if I, for whatever reason, if I do decide to go off and you're not here, contact me, Haley. Contact me, email me, or message me directly so I can give you, like, I can record a little something for you, okay? To make sure that you receive your reading. Oh, okay, Heather, you're asking for physical health. Would the current path of pursuing surgery be for the best? Okay, all right. So typically when I do health, or when I'm asked about health questions, I do a scan. So I'm gonna do, like, I'm gonna scan your energy, and then I will bring whatever information that is related to that and connected to that. Okay. So I'm never here to tell you all of the things. I will tell you exactly what comes through and be as articulate as I can with the information that comes through. And you get to decide. So even if, like, I say yes or no or whatever, please always remember that you get to decide, because you are the ultimate authority over your own life. Okay. You have agency, authority, and dominion over your own life. Okay. So just to put that out there, I always want to make sure that that is very clear. I'm not into taking people's power. Okay. Heather. All right. Okay. I'm going to connect to your energy and listen for a moment, and I'm just going to scan. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. Doing a second pass of the scan. Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, I might have a question or two for you, Heather. My first pass, I got knees. I don't know if this is knee surgery or whatever, or if your knees bother you, or there's something around knees or knee pain or the joints there. And I don't even know if it's quite knees, because the second pass, like when I just said ow just a minute ago, it was like in my left thigh, kind of above the knee. So I don't know if it's leg, knee, etc. I'm not trying to diagnose, but I'm just relaying the information as it's coming to me. So that's what I got there. When I did the second pass, I was feeling again throat area. That typically says thyroid for me. But I don't know that in this case, that's what that is. I don't mean for that to sound vague, but like that's the only way I know how to really relay that information. Okay. And so what is that? The second pass, it was really interesting because it's almost like we skipped over the heart, the lungs, like this area, and we like went down to like solar plexus down. And I was like, well, why did we skip the heart? That's weird. So it's just interesting. Reading the energy, it feels like, how do I say this? It feels like there's pieces that feel disconnected within the body, and the surgery is there to like help correct the things, right? Physically, right? Totally get that. Stating the obvious, I get that. But the thing is energetically, I don't know if the surgery would fix the energetic part, because we're all energy. We're made up of energy. We're like point 0.000000001 like mass, like actual matter. At the subatomic level, you get like, we're pretty much all energy. So when we have disease, illness, cancer, when we have those things, it's because of an energetic malady, you could say, or an energetic block, or something obstructing the full flow of energy. And that's why the illness, sickness, dis-ease manifests. So because I'm feeling all of this disconnected energy, I'm not sure that the surgery would actually fix what it's meant to fix. Does that make sense? So let me feel into the timeline. It almost feels like, when I tune into this, to be honest, it almost feels like getting the surgery would either make things worse or would yield no real change at all, because it's more of an energetic disconnection. It's more of an energetic thing. I think that makes sense. Yeah, because everything feels so kind of disconnected. It feels like the heart wants to come in more. The emotions want to come in more. There's feelings and old, like unprocessed emotions. Like I talk about that a lot. But it feels like when I did a scan, it's almost like that came up blank. Like I'm doing an x-ray and it was like, wait, where is the heart? Where's the lungs? So it feels like, I'm not sure what the issue is that you're considering surgery for, Uh, but it feels more like if you lean into more of the spiritual aspect, while remaining grounded, while remaining practical, because these things are practical. They can seem really woo-woo and bullshit to a lot of people, but they are actually very, very interconnected with with science, with physics. It's just that our science and our physics hasn't quite caught up to the wholeness of who we are, who and what we are, which is bioenergetic, electromagnetic. Okay. Um, I keep seeing this circled. It feels like there's some unprocessed emotions and stuff. Bringing that feels like it starts to connect things, um, but it also feels like it might start to unravel. When we start to go into a healing space, if you're new to that and you've never really gone into like processing your emotions or reframing beliefs or doing shadow work, like befriending your demons, etc. Uh, if you're new to that space and you've never done something like that, it starts to unravel a lot of different things. So one thing come up and you're like, oh, that's good. That felt good. Like I feel in a much better place. And then like something else comes up and something else comes up because you start to, it's almost like I see it as a ball of yarn. If you pull on one string, all of these other things need to be processed. So that's kind of another image that I get. So it gets to be your choice. But I would say overall, the sense that I get is that the surgery, it doesn't feel like it would fix the root of the issue, because the root of the issue is energetic. Okay. It does get to be your choice. But that's just me reading the energy as it sits right now. Okay. And you get to always, you get to choose. You are in power and authority over your own life. But as I sense it, um, I don't feel like it would, I don't feel like it's necessary. I feel like you can go into healing spaces and become more aware of the deeper issues. And that would actually be far more transformational and far more beneficial for your body, for your mind, and for your spirit. Okay? Because it feels like it creates synergy. It just feels like there's, right now, feels like there's a lot of disconnected parts that aren't, because of the disconnection, um, it's creating whatever this is. And I'm not reading what it is. I don't know. But that's the overall sense that I get. Okay. But overall, you please, no matter what I say, use your own intuition, use your own discernment, and you get to choose. Okay, do you think if I'm addressing the emotional and spiritual aspect? Yeah, I do. It would be then more effective. I just said that, which is funny because you asked the same question. I do. I feel like, because here's the thing. I've had physical things happen. Oh, that was weird. That was really weird. I've had like physical things happen. Like I jacked up my spine. I used to be a bodybuilder. I was going through a breakup and I was doing moderately heavy squats, about 125 pounds on the bar. And I went down to do a squat, jacked up my spine. Even knocked one of my my vertebrae out of alignment, and it hurt like a bitch. I focused on, because I didn't have insurance at the time, I was like, no, I can heal my body. It took me a lot of years. It took me a lot of time to learn how to do it, and because I was like, no, there's something deeper here, because we attract situations such as me fucking up my spine doing squats. We attract situations like that because of our mental, emotional alignment or misalignment. Okay. So I do feel that if you address the emotional issues there, and because that's the mental, emotional issues that are there, it's going to be far more beneficial. I would recommend that. I would recommend going that first, and then assessing, seeing from there, from that space, going into, do I still feel aligned with doing surgery, considering doing surgery? But it gets to be your choice. I'm not a medical professional, nor do I claim to be one. I will always direct you back to your own intuition, to your own gut instincts, and to your own discernment. But that's the sense that I get here. I would always recommend someone to address the mental, emotional stuff first, and then consider how that might still fit in, like the physical surgeries and stuff might fit in to that, because it still might be beneficial. But I would say start addressing the mental, emotional stuff first, and then use your own discernment and intuition to see if the surgery is still applicable or still feels beneficial to you. Okay, I would go from that. Gastrointestinal, wow. It's so funny that you say you're feeling it in your solar plexus abdomen, because it's a stomach gastrointestinal. Okay, all right. It's really interesting. If I had, I'm going to recommend a book, and you can take it or leave it. If I had it down here, I'd show it to you. But it's called Metaphysical Anatomy by Yvette Rose. And it's like this big ass dictionary of a book where she lists all of the different sicknesses, illnesses, cancers, different things, and the emotional like root issues that could be possible. And I've used that book many times through my own healing journey, of like, oh, look, there's this, oh, what's this? What is this about? What does this mean? To help direct me into certain emotional processing, because of the trauma that I experienced. I dissociated a lot. Dissociated from my emotions, dissociated from my body. And I was like, nope, I don't want to be here. And so that book really helped me. But it's like super big. It's yellow. And you can even look up in there. The reason why I was saying that you can look up there, gastrointestinal issues. If I had the book, I would look it up for you if I had it, if I had it here with me. But if you want to like reach out to me, email me and say, hey, I was here on the live, I can send you some screenshots of of it and see how that resonates. Because she taps into like a whole list of like different things to process or to like feel into. Okay. So if you're welcome to inbox me for that. Otherwise, I would direct you to that book. I don't get much else, but I would definitely start with the mental, emotional processing of that. Okay. Hi, Caitlin. How are you? Oh, I have pulled it up. There, see, there you go. Well, I'm glad that helps. I would look into that book, Heather. because that book's helped me immensely. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Um, and thank you, Heather, for being here. I hope that helped. Feel free to reach out to me again, either on my lives or personally. Let me know how that goes. Okay. Oh, and you said it is also interesting that you mentioned knees because I've had knees issues. I've had knees issues that ... the surgery. Oh, the surgery could potentially help with. Yeah, there was like a massive, I wouldn't say massive, but like really sharpish pain right above my left knee. And I was like, oh God. So it feels like to me because I'm a physical empath, sometimes if I allow myself to feel the things, I get pains. Um, and so knees, knees are about needs. Knees, needs. Um, and that book, if you check it out, it might say some different things, but that's just kind of what I've learned. Needs are about needs. So if we're neglecting our needs, abandoning our own needs, not meeting our own needs, um, then that can cause issues in the knees. Oh, you have issues where your knees dislocate and it's very painful. Yeah. Yeah, that was really painful. I was like, holy shit, what is that? But that's crazy. So I would address the emotional stuff first, because when we process those emotions, all of those emotions that are unprocessed, they get stored in our body. So as we release them, as we process them, they open up, that gets released from the body. The energy, the flow of energy can actually then um, kind of go back to normal, or whatever that normal is. Um, so I work on the emotional stuff and awareness around that. Um, I'm glad that it helped. I'm glad. I'm glad that helped. Thank you for being here, Heather. I appreciate you so much. And feel free to um, reach out. If not, that's great. I wish you all of the best on your journey. Okay, Haley, it's your turn. Let me put some. Haley, did you did you let me know, Haley, what your question or what you wanted your reading to be, your intention for your reading was? Oh, okay. All right. All right. Oh, hi, Caitlin. I'm actually currently just finishing up my paid readings. Because I offer, when I go live, I typically offer free and paid. And I just kind of do free readings, up until and if I get like a paid reading, and then I switch over to the paid readings. So I'm just doing the paid readings. I'm just finishing those up. Okay, so you're looking for guidance because it's been a long journey, and you're asking about this, your high school sweetheart, if you're gonna end up. Okay. All right, so let me feel into. Okay, let me feel into the connection. We're talking about high school. Okay. Okay. So let me just tune in and listen for a moment. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm going to just start because I'm getting things right away. When I tune into the connection, there is a lot of chords going on. And chords are normal. in any relationship, typically we form cords, when we cord into each other, and we create those connections. These cords can be healthy, unhealthy, they can be neutral, etc. And it feels like there's a mixed bag here, but it feels like there's a lot, because there's a lot of history here when you go back that far. I mean, depending on how many solar returns and revolutions around the sun that you've had, that could be more or less depending. But going back to high school, your high school sweetheart feels like it's there's some history there, and it feels like there's some old cords that want to be cleared out. So it feels like there's some old cording around old, or let's see, old cording that almost show up and feel as if they are attachments. Again, like I said, there's a mixed bag here. It feels like there's some healthy, there's some maybe that are not so healthy, and there's some neutral cords here. Okay. These older cords that were established back in the day, they feel like they feel more attachment like, in that they might not be as quote unquote healthy. So it does feel like there's some, I would say, let's see, how do I say this? I would say that there's an invitation to clean up some of these cords, these old attachments. And that involves inner work, inner self-reflection, etc. I don't get anything specific on the dynamics surrounding these cords, and perhaps why they were established. It's more just like there might be some cleaning up to do there, letting go of old attachments. Not to say that that would mean letting go of this person fully. It might, but not to say that that means that. Okay. It's more like there's some old stuff that needs to be cleaned up. And this more refers to I keep being taken back to like healing, self-awareness, inner reflection to clean up the old stuff that's causing attachments. Because it feels like there's some attachments to this person. And a lot of times when we feel how do I say this? A lot of times when we feel we're taken back to a certain person, it typically means there might be some stuff to, not typically, but a lot of times it'll mean there's some stuff to clean up there. I I hear one of you guys saying, clean it up, clean it up. Like in a lighthearted way, not in a judgy way, but like it's like, clean it up, clean it up. You got to clean it up. And so with this connection, there's also the deeper underlying invitation to clean up some old, I would say, dynamics within relationships. Okay. They're telling me to, they're showing me to pick a card or to pull a card. What is this? Almost. Where's this cord? Okay. All right. So we got 2 here. Okay. So you got the Ace of Swords and the 4 of Wands. Okay. Yeah. Eliana's like, relationships are hard today. This is where a lot of the collective is. We're being heavily guided to really focus on internally, know ourselves, and really get clear in here. Because any other relationship we have out there is going to be a reflection of the work we've done in here. And if there's someone out there, like when we've done the work in here, and there's someone out there that's an obvious non-match for us, we'll be able to see that much more clearly, much more quickly, and be able to be like, oh, no, you're not for me. Whereas before, if we were still like in our shit and not dealing with the stuff and maybe had like certain blinders or not aware of certain projections, we might have been, attracted to them to have an experience that was maybe not so pleasant, maybe ended not so happily, in order to become very, very clear, to bring us back into like, hey, there's some shit within you that needs to be like, it's time to like look within. And because of the split, like I said this earlier, because of the split in humanity's consciousness, you're either choosing to ascend, become more self-realized, become more self-aware, more expansive, or choosing to go the other way. And I mean, it's all a choice. There's nothing wrong or right about any of it. But that's why, if you got shit and you're trying to take it into a connection, or you're attracted to someone that maybe might not be for you, it's going to be clear, and you're going to keep repeating that until you decide and choose to become really like, become aware. Okay. That's kind of just where a lot of the collective is. Like if you're single, you're meant to be single right now. You're meant to like pour that love into yourself. You're meant to like really dig deep within yourself. Okay. Anyway, back. That's interesting. No, but hold on, I'm looking. Does it go this way? It's so interesting. That's so interesting. Let me listen to the card for a minute. This card can kind of go either way. This is about looking to the truth, looking for truth, being able to connect to the truth, and to your truth, not truth you've inherited, which was not your truth, not truth you were, your parents or other people in your family might have given you. That's not your truth, most oftentimes. Your truth that you know within your heart, your soul, is true, or that you... This is very interesting how this is coming through. Because I keep seeing truth. This is also about communication. Communicate, clarity. Look at that clarity. So it's time to, that sword, that reminds me of Michelangelo. Michelangelo. What? That reminds me of Archangel Michael's sword of truth. Cutting through the bullshit, cutting through the lies, cutting through the projections, cutting through all of the shit that you inherited, or that you created, or that other people gave to you in order to gain clarity. Okay? So that brings in a level of focus. That brings in a level of vision and understanding yourself from a deeper place, and being able to see the truth in this situation. What I've noticed as a reader is that when people have really strong projections or attachments to those that they ask me about, sometimes I can't see past that because of those projections. Because there's a lot of like distortion. Not to say that the experiences aren't real, not to say the feelings aren't real. It's just being created from a place that's not in alignment with your truth, the truth of you as spirit, as source, as a highest self. A lot of times we're in our lower desires, in our ego. There's nothing wrong with that because we learn a lot from that. But there is a lot to navigate. There's a lot of bullshit that we got to navigate from that space. There's a lot of projections and distortions and confusion and lies that we have to fucking navigate. But if we get really clear here, connect to our source, connect to ourself, back to God or universe or whatever you want to call that, universal consciousness, connecting back to our own source and pouring that love into ourselves, it makes everything and the connections that we have so much clearer. And because of that, sometimes relationships fall away. And that's not what people want to hear, or there's a lot of fear around that sometimes, because it's like, oh no, but like, this is the thing I wanted it to be. And those are attachments that we create, that create suffering. Okay. So with all of that in mind, the other card is Four of Wands. Let me hold on. Okay. I feel a possibility. This is about united, community support, homecoming, lover returns, wedding, party, celebration. So I would say there is a possibility about this connection, you know, or possibility. Everything is possible, probable. I would say there's a pretty good chance. I feel like a 60-ish % chance that this could work out in a future now moment. Provided, there's a caveat here, provided there is healing on both parts. Provided that they're taking me back to clean up those cords, those old relationship dynamics. Those won't work in a new energy. They won't work from a healed place. Healed. They won't work from a place where you are knowing of yourself as whole. Does that make sense? You know how there's this saying in society of like, oh, you complete me, this is my other half, and blah blah. Like, no, you get to be your own full person, own complete person, And your partner gets to be their own complete person. Because if we feel like we're a half, if we're a half of a person, you're starting any connection from a place of not feeling whole, not feeling complete, and therefore can be seeking love from a place of lack, of emptiness, of desperation, of disconnectedness. Okay. That being said, all of that being said, it does feel like this card feels, the Four of Wands feels like there is, I'm going to scream, stop, this is great. It does feel like there is a good chance, about 60-ish, but you got to clean the old relationship dynamics up, the old bickering or arguing, or the old stuff, whatever it is. I'm not being shown like what that is, like the old shit, the old patterns. You need to clean that shit up. I say that with all the love in my heart. It's got to be cleaned up for it to work. It's possible. At the same time, you got to remember that there's another person who gets to have a say in the choice of if this comes into fruition. Okay, so we always have to take that into consideration, that everybody has will, like free will, choice, authority over their own life. But I would say it's sitting at about 60-ish% as of right now, that it's probable that this can come back around. I would invite you, and there is the invitation from your guides, your higher self, to become aware of like any old relationship dynamics or relationship dynamics in general that aren't serving you, that create dissonance, resistance in the relationship. Get really, really clear in yourself. Okay. That truth card is coming in again. For whatever reason, I'm going to say this. If we get into a relationship and we don't want to rock the boat, therefore not speak our truth, not speak up, not say, oh, not speak our needs, or like, oh, hey, can you, I would like, if we don't know ourselves or know our truth enough to speak up, and we're not speaking up in a relationship, and therefore not wanting to rock the boat, and maybe going into like people pleaser mentality, people pleaser dynamics, not speaking up, that's suppression of your own voice, that's suppression of your truth, your authenticity. So that's another reason why it's really important to get very, very clear in who you are, what your truth is, what your needs are. It's really important to get really, really clear in all of this first before engaging. That's not to say that you can't engage with anybody ever until you heal or until you deal with your shit. It's just a good idea to allow yourself to remain internally focused and be the source of your own happiness, and not depend or rely on someone else making you happy. It's not their job to make you happy. It's your job. The relationship is the cherry on the cake. It's the frosting. It's the extra. I'll leave it there. I don't know why I don't know why they were saying say that, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know. You can let me know if that resonates or not, but that's, let me listen. It feels like there's something else, but it's just a reiteration. Clean up the old relationship dynamics. See what, okay. Look at what worked and what didn't work when you were together before. The stuff that didn't work it feels like that's the stuff that would be beneficial to clean it up, to get really clear there in those, because it feels like it gets muddy there. Okay. Let me just listen for a minute to see if there's anything else. That's exactly what we discussed doing. It feels like this has a good shot. You just got to clean up the old stuff, because the old stuff, you carry it's like carrying baggage. You can't carry your baggage into something that you want, that you're trying to build a new foundation on. Okay? You want to clear out that old shit, because that old shit is it's going to be something that rots a foundation. Does that make sense? It's not going to add to the integrity, to the foundation that you're wanting to build. But I would say that there's a good probability that this has of working, coming back around. Okay. But you got to do the work and get really clear. Or not. It gets to be your choice. But I would say that's what I feel. Okay. I don't get anything else other than kind of that. Okay. Let me just make sure. Oh yeah, my head's spinning. I'm like, nope, that's it. He's also taking time to become his own person. Yeah. It's really important. It's really important, because if we're not like our own people first, what can happen is that we start to enmesh and entangle and become this like semblance of the person that we were, and we start to entangle our personalities, or our identities into one another, and then we blur lines, we blur boundaries, we blur who we actually are. So you want to be very, very firm and clear in who you are. And you said, is my healing internal, mental, or physical? If that makes sense. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, internal is mental, is mental, emotional, physical. Let me tune in. Hold on. So when I tune in, there's some mental stuff there. I would say mental. I feel like there's some mental clarity that wants to come in, whether that's reframing beliefs about relationships or about what's happened in the past, etc. Things that you feel are a mental block to move forward. And then like my mouth is vibrating quite a bit. And that feels like really, I would say, the internal of like coming into your voice, owning your voice. And yeah, I would say owning your voice and speaking up and not being afraid to. And that's always balanced with, communicating that in a kind, compassionate, respectful, considerate way. which is different for everybody and every couple. But like I would say owning your words, being very clear in your communication, being very clear in what you're asking. I guess maybe what you're asking from a relationship. I'm not sure how that's supposed to come through. But being very clear and owning your words, your communication, and knowing that you're half, that you would, as a couple, you're part of that communication, and your communication, it kind of comes through as like, as good as your communication is as good as someone, or the more good, the more articulate, the more articulate your communication is, the greater the understanding. At the same time, you can't control how someone else receives what you're saying, so keeping that in mind as well. There's just a lot around communication and understanding the different facets of communication. I will say it that way, because there's like all these different things. I'm like, okay, I would say communication, being very open and honest with yourself, authentic, vulnerable. My cat is meowing very loudly. Being very open and honest about your communication, about listening, communication, all of the different facets of communication. Okay. That's where I feel that's where I feel your energy. So in the head, the mental stuff, any mental blocks, and then your truth, your stuff, around communication. Okay. And if you missed any of it, or if you want to go back and watch it, I'll have this video up sometime between tonight, tomorrow, so you can rewatch it. Okay, but that's what I feel for you, my dear. Do you know how long the distance will be? Slight timeline. I'm not really being given that information. It's more like when I tune into that question, it's more like it's almost like I feel your guides being like, we gave you a lot. We gave you a lot of information. It's almost like, focus on that, and the rest will unfold. I know, like, sometimes we want to know all the things, but I don't get anything around that. Okay. I would say I would invite you to like focus more on like the internal stuff, getting really clear, and then seeing how that progresses. And as you get clearer, seeing how in alignment that feels. Because with all of that, that's going to also create greater clarity around all of the different things. Okay. But I don't get anything around like timeline or distance or anything like that. Okay. But I hope that helps, Haley. That's kind of all I get for you. I hope that helps. Feel free to reach out to me and let me know, or catch me on another live and let me know how things are going, or how things are progressing. It did. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your donation and like honoring me with that. And thank y'all for hanging out, all four of you. With that, I'm gonna skedaddle. Please feel free to reach out to me, or if you want to learn more about me or my offerings, you can look at my website and book there if you feel called. And until then, I will catch you on another live. Love you guys. Bye. Have a good night.